All right, kids, this is Mr. Byrd. I thought that I would try to teach you a new math concept today. We're going to learn about statistical measures. Yes, I know that's something new for you sixth graders, but when you hear these three words, it'll probably seem a little more familiar. We're going to learn about mean, median, and mode today. So, I don't know if you can see, but I have my two own children here. I'm going to teach them, and hopefully some of you other kids can maybe learn these concepts as well. So I'm going to have them get out their math journals. If you have one, that'd be great. If you don't, you can just use a piece of paper. But you are going to need to know these definitions and commit them to memory for quite some time. You're going to use these three things for a long time in your math career. All right, we're going to start with the mean. M-E-A-N. Write that in your math journal. The definition of a mean is the sum of the data divided by the number of pieces of data. That's kind of a fancy way of saying you add it all up and divide by how many there are. That's what I'll always say to you in my class. Add all the numbers up and divide by how many numbers there are. So the sum of the data, obviously you're adding. The data is how many numbers you're dealing with. Whatever type of number you'll see will deal with a lot of different numbers. And then you divide by how many pieces of data. This is also known as the average. I'll say that to you a lot in class too. If somebody says, Mr. Byrd, what is the mean? I'll say, it's the average. Remember, how do we find an average? How do we find a mean? They are synonymous. They're the same thing. We use averages in all kinds of things. You know, from your batting average in sports to the average amount of rainfall to all that. So the mean basically means the same thing. Now, normally, I might just teach you mean, and we would do that for one day, and then we would go on. But since we don't have, access, we're going to do all three of these at one time. Okay? The median. So write down the median in your journal. All right? The median is kind of what it sounds like. The median is in the middle. So that's one way you can kind of always remember it. The median is in the middle. But here's the definition. The value appearing at the center of a sorted list of values. Now again, that sounds kind of hard to understand, but to put it in our terms, you're going to put the numbers in order from least to greatest and find the one in the middle, the median, the one in the middle. That's why you have to sort the numbers. You have to sort your list. You can't just use a whole group of numbers just the way they are. You've got to put them in order. We usually put them from least to greatest. Right here, I wrote that at the very end. Sort them from least to greatest and find the one in the middle. Now, there's one problem with this that kids run into. If you have an odd set of numbers, it's going to be really easy. There's always one right in the middle. But what if you have an even set of numbers? Colby?
Well, it's going to be a number and point, or is it going to be in the middle of two numbers?
Perfect. It's going to be in the middle of two numbers. Okay? So that number might not even be in your data set because it's in the middle of two numbers. We're going to talk about this a little bit later too. So what you're going to have to do is, again, come up here and find the average of the two numbers that's in between, and that'll tell you what your median is. So we'll work on that too. But just keep that in mind as we go. All right, and the last one I want you to write down in your math journal is mode. Mode. What does it sound like? It sounds like most. We always remember the mode by it's the one that happens the most. But here's the definition for it. The number or numbers that occur most often in a data set. So again, you have a set of data, a set of numbers. It's the number that occurs the most. Now, you notice in the definition, it could be a number or numbers. There could be more than one mode. If two numbers appear the same amount of times and they appear more than anything else, you would call it the mode. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to try to find the mean, which is an average. We're going to find the median, and we're going to find the mode. Later on in another lesson, you're going to learn, well, which one should I use and when should I use it? Okay, because that's very important too. But right now, we're just going to learn how to use these three. Mean, median, and mode. Okay, and again, this may not make a lot of sense to you right now. Statistical measures. But if you start to think about it and when you start to see us find the mean, median, and mode, it's going to make more sense. We're dealing with statistics. Why would you want to find the average of something? Why would you want to find the middle of something? Why would you want to find the number that occurs the most? Okay, so these are all helpful when we're dealing with statistics. That's why this whole chapter is called Statistical Measures. All right, let's practice a little bit on our whiteboards. Those of you in room 16 know this is our favorite thing to do. Get out our whiteboards. I don't have my big whiteboard to draw up problems and just keep drawing up problems like we do, but we'll do the best that we can for today. All right, we're going to start with a super simple problem. We're finding the mean on these three right now. Okay? We're going to find the mean. So, on your whiteboard, write these four numbers. Dalton, what are we going to do to these four numbers to find the average? What's the first thing we'll probably do?
Add them.
Okay, let's add them. Colby, what's the next step we would do to find our mean or our average?
We would divide 24, or the number that we got when we added them up, by 4, because that's how many numbers we have.
Perfect. I was going to ask you, why 4? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. We have 4 numbers. They add up to 24. We divide by how many numbers there are. And what? Write it big on your whiteboard so I can see it, and then hold it up so we can see it, me and the camera. Okay, your average is what, Dalton? Your mean is what? 6. Colby, is that what you got?
Yeah.
6. Now, let me ask you a question I always ask. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, tell me why it makes sense.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Okay, how does that help me? How did... You're saying it's the mean or the average. What was the definition?
It means the sum of, the definition in the middle.
Okay. Our median was in the middle.
Yeah.
What's our mean?
I don't know the meaning.
Okay. Well, we wrote down the meaning that just said it was the sum of the numbers added together divided, right?
Yeah.
But when you just think about an average, like you know baseball.
Oh, yes, the average.
What is your baseball batting average?
Like point something out of 1,000.
Okay, but what does it mean it's your average in baseball? So is it what you do every single time?
No, it's all together.
Okay. So how would you say in your own words, 6th grade terms, how does your batting average really represent your batting?
Like, if you were to add up all of your numbers and then divide it by how many there are, how many games you played, it'd be like your percentage of how many hits you got. So.
Okay, you're on track. Let me help you just a little bit. It would be every at bat you took, added together, right?
Yeah.
And then you figure out how many hits you got, how many outs you got, right? And it works out to be an average. But the average is, it's where you are most of the time. It's an average. It's a mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a statistic, that kind of shows where it's at. Okay? And yes, it's in the middle, usually. So, does 6 make sense that it would be right here in the middle of your numbers?
Yeah.
Because I did list them from least to greatest for you on this first one. It's really easy. So when I look at 6 as an average, that makes sense. Okay? Would 10 make sense?
No.
No, because it's the highest number in our group of numbers. It couldn't be the average. Get it? Okay? Now, I'm going to kind of trick you a little bit. Would 20 make sense?
No.
Obviously not. It's not even on there. It's way bigger. But what about 5? It's not on there.
It's closer.
It's closer. What do you mean it's closer?
Because it's closer to, if you were to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe it could be 5.
Okay, so it's at least closer to the middle. So it doesn't have to necessarily be a number that's on there, because 6 isn't on there either, right? But it's in the middle. Okay? If I was looking at these numbers and you told me before I figured it out that it was 5, I'd be like, okay, that at least is close. Let me figure it out, right? So I want you to be able to look right at this and be like, it's not 1. It's not 20. It's not 10. It's not 2. You know, I know it has to be somewhere in the middle, right? Okay, let's do a little harder one. Okay, erase your board. All right, these are the temperatures for this week. Okay, in our area. We had 56 degrees, 60 degrees, 56, 57, 60, 61, and 67. Now this is a common question. You know, what's going to be the average temperature this week? What's going to be the mean temperature this week? First step, Colby.
Add them together.
Add them all up. All right, are we there? Do we have our answer yet on adding them up? What'd you get for a total, Colby?
417.
Dalton, what'd you get?
417.
Okay, well, I hope you both got the right answer because you got the same answer. All right, now what are you going to do, Dalton? Next step.
Sort them. Oh, the value. Sort them from least to greatest.
Okay, if we were going to find the median and the mode, that would definitely be important. But right now, we're just finding the average. Do you have to do that?
Oh, we're just doing the mean?
We're just doing the mean right now.
I thought we were doing median.
Nope, we're just doing the mean.
Oh.
So you added them all up. What are you going to do?
Divide by how many there are? So
How?
7.
Okay, divide by 7 because there's 7 numbers. Go for it. Let's see what we get. You can just solve to the nearest tenth would be fine. Okay, when we're doing degrees for temperature, you're probably not going to go anywhere past the nearest tenth. Okay? All right, somewhere big on your board, erase some of your work there, and write your answer, what you got for degrees. We'll see if it matches what I got. Okay, Dalton got 59.5, Colby got 59.57, she went to hundreds, which is fine. They're both right. Okay, I got 59.5. If you were an overachiever and you wrote 59.6 because you rounded your hundreds to your tenths, I would give that to you too. That's a good answer. All right, now I'm back to the same question. We found an answer, 59.5. If you're looking at our degrees here, does that seem like an average for this week? Yeah, it makes sense, right? Okay. What if you would have got something like, 5.95? Would that make any sense?
No.
No, you would know that you did what? You got your decimal in the wrong spot probably. Okay? So I just use some common sense and know that you're looking for a number. As soon as you looked at that, you're going to say, okay, I would have thought it's going to be around 58, to be honest. Just by looking at it and then like, oh, the 67 put us up there a little higher, huh? Okay? So that's 67. But anyways, you should know. Now, again, this is not a hard problem. However, there's a lot of places to make a mistake. You got to add all these up and make sure you get your addition correct. Then you've got to divide. So the process is not difficult, but there is places to make simple mistakes, right? So just being able to check yourself like that will help you. All right. Dalton's already started on the next one. Let's just find the mean, the average of these test scores. Okay? Find the average of these test scores. Before you start though, Dalton, look at those test scores. If those were yours, are you going to be happy? Do you think you have an A in the class right now?
Maybe like a B plus.
Okay, Colby, what do you think? Do you think you have an A with those test scores?
Yes.
Okay. You think you have enough 90s, bumping it up?
Yeah, because there's more 90s than there are 80s.
Okay. And this 97 is pretty helpful, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what you end up with. I better add these together too to make sure we come up with the same answer here. Is that a 0?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, cool. She got 6. Okay. We all got the same thing when we added it up. We all got 640. Okay, now what are we doing? We're dividing it by?
2.
Excuse
Because
me?
7.
7. Why 7?
Because that's how many test scores there are.
Okay, there's 7 test scores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're dividing it by 7. Okay. As soon as you got the first answer when you were dividing, did you know if it was an A or not?
Yeah.
You did, huh? Yeah, because it was 9. It went in 9 times, right? Would you go to the tenths or the hundredths?
Up to hundredths.
Hundredths? Okay. I'll go to hundredths, see how we get. Okay. So, Colby, what'd you get?
I got 91 and 42 hundredths.
Dalton?
91 and 42 hundredths.
All right, I got 91 and 42 hundredths. So, again, if I'm writing this in my grade book, I'm probably only going to put that the average equals 91.4. All right? 91.4%, which is an A. All right? Very good. Okay. On the worksheets that you're going to do, if you look at them right here, the first one has a bunch of graphs. All right? So it's really just kind of a two-step process for you. You have to read the graph, figure out what the numbers are, then find the average, the mean. Are you guys going to be able to do that?
Yeah.
You're going to be able to find the mean? Okay. Yeah, it doesn't seem that hard. On the next one, it's it's in word problems. So all you have to do is read the word problem, take the numbers out, and then use your process to find the mean or the average. All right, erase your boards. Let's talk about median now. Okay? Let's find the median of this first one. Now, I did the easy part, or I did the part for you already. I already put them in order from least to greatest. But remember when we were talking about an even number versus an odd number? Okay, this one's a little harder because there's no number right in the middle. Do you see that, Dalton? There's no number right there.
Yeah.
If you had an odd set of numbers, watch how easy this is. Let's say I added a 5 in there. If I had a 2, 4, 5, 8, 10. Which one is the median? 5. You just look at it. There's 2 on this side and there's 2 on that side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when I have a long set of numbers, I cross one off, cross one off, cross one off, cross one off, and then I do that until I get to the middle. There's a lot of strategies you can use. That's just one of them. Okay, you can count one way, count the other way, and figure out which one's in the middle. So that would have been easy, but it's not there. There's no 5. So now, what am I going to have to, I have to figure out what's in between these two. Some of you were smart enough just to get it, right? You can just look at it and know, oh, I know what number's in between there. But that only is going to work with easy numbers that you can look at it and know. So, what should you do? Get used to doing this. What are you going to do to these two numbers? Colby? You're going to find the average. So, what are you going to do to these two?
Add them together.
And divide by?
2.
Okay. What's 4 plus 8?
12.
What's 12 divided by 2?
6.
What is your median?
6.
6. So in this problem, your average and your median are going to be the same. Okay? I won't say that's rare, but it doesn't happen all the time. You know, that's not common. Our median also equals 6. All right, now, on this next one, you're going to have to do a little bit more work. Dalton, what's the first thing I'm going to have to do if I'm trying to find a median?
Order from least to greatest.
Go for it. Put them in order from least to greatest. Hold on, real quick though. Let me ask Colby something. What if there's two of the same number?
Well, you only have to put it once because it represents both.
No, I'm glad I asked you. If there were 4 56s, you still have to list all 4 of them. Okay? So it doesn't matter which 56 goes first, they're both 56. But just go 56, 56. Then you put your next one. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people would think the same thing. They're like, no, you just need that number. But no, because we're trying to find the middle of a whole set of numbers. So we have to use all the numbers. Okay, so use whichever strategy you're going to use to find that one in the middle. Okay, we're very lucky to have a resident math expert in the house with us. So Mrs. Byrd is going to come up and give us a little hint on this real quick too. Come on.
All right, just a helpful hint. When you order all of your numbers, anytime you have a set of numbers, it's always good at the end to just count how many numbers you started with here and then count how many you wrote down, because it's very easy, especially when you have duplicates of the same number, to forget one. And if you forget one, it's going to throw off your median. It'll throw off your mode too, but we'll get to that in a second. So just make sure you double count, make sure you have it correct first.
All right. Thank you. So for our median, the one in the middle, what did you guys get?
60.
60. Good. You both came up with 60. So when we put these in order, and we went 56, 56, 57, 60, 60 again, 61, 67, okay? We found out that 60 was our middle number. And again, this was easier because there was an odd number of numbers, so 60 was our median. Okay, very good. All right, let's do the median for test scores. First thing we're going to do, Colby?
Put them in order from least to greatest.
Perfect. Okay, so did you count your numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make sure you have 7. Good. You got them in order from least to greatest. Dalton, what number would come first?
85.
Colby, which one next?
88. 90.
Dalton. Colby.
93.
Dalton.
93.
Colby.
94. 97.
Okay. And again, I do this sometimes. Okay, just a strategy to get you to the middle. So you both came up with 93. Very good. Our median test score is 93%. Okay? Okay, so mean, median, and now we're going to do mode really quickly. Now, I did this on purpose for this first one because sometimes this happens. Is there a number that happens more than once in this?
No.
No. So, is there a mode?
No.
No. There's no mode. Okay? That happens sometimes on a data set. And they might ask you that question. What is the mode of this set of data? And you might be looking at it and you're like, well, there's a 56 and a 57. Does that count? No. They have to be the same number, and if they don't repeat, you would have no mode. That's okay. All right? All right, look at problem number 2. What is the mode on this set of data?
I have a question.
Good, ask it.
So there's two 56s and then there's two 60s.
Okay, this is what I'm going to tell you. Look back into your math journal and read your definition of mode. Does it say number or numbers?
Yes.
Can there be 2 modes?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do you think your mode would be for this? Colby, what did you write?
I put the mode equals 56 and 60.
That would be correct. You actually have 2 modes on this one because these 2 occur twice. And they're the only 2 that occur twice. Okay? So, I ran out of space on this one. Your mode for this one is 56 and 60. Alright? Okay, do the same thing on your test scores. What is your mode for the test scores? Okay, both of you at the same time, what'd you get?
93.
Okay, your mode
Mode is the easiest.
is 93. Yes, and you guys are right. All right, great job. Those were 3 just problems to get you going. I think you ought to be fine on these couple of worksheets now. Mean, median, mode.